Let's get the meeting started, please. Stands for the pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Arlene, can you do the roll call, please?
John Aldridge,
Here.
Susan Vorkow,
Here.
Rick Drew,
Here.
Jim Grimes,
Here.
Francis Bach,
Here.
Bill Taylor,
Here.
Brian Burns,
Here.
Susan McGraw-Keeper,
Here.
Del Cullen.
Here.
Thank you, all here.
Okay, thank you. And we'll go into public comment. Excuse me. I'll start with Richard Lester.
My name is Richard Lester, and I'd like to talk about three things, and that's, one is Georgia Pond, and one is Fresh Pond, and I'd like to talk about the soft clamming. Are we gonna open the gut, because the gut is closed now, are we gonna open the gut in the next, by a little after 1st April?
Before that.
Okay.
Before that, Richard, what the goal is there right now, they're just starting to move sand to the east. Once they're done with that, I spoke to the guy that's doing it today. He's gonna open that back up.
Okay.
Once we're done there.
All right, that's fine. Now, how about Fresh Pond, how are we doing on that?
Fresh Pond, I met with Kim Shaw last week. We're working together. We're putting together an application right now. I met with Dan Lester, and he showed me the meets and bounds, which you guys would like to see excavated. I went over that with Kim. She thought we could probably do that. But, you know, it's gonna be a little while on that.
Yeah, because it's
And-
been a long time coming.
No, I know, and I apologize.
Yeah. Okay,
What's the third thing?
well, soft clamming. Now,
The power clamming?
yeah. How are we doing there? We gonna have anything to do this year with soft clamming, or are we gonna be able to
Well,
power?
actually, has anybody come in and told us where they want to do it yet?
I've spoken to a few baymen and asked them about likely sites. And I've looked back through the files, trustee files, and there's some maps in there with past sites that have been allowed. So, I think, you know, over the next several weeks, we can zero in on some sites, maybe get the agriculture committee together, talk to a few more baymen, and
Now, trustees?
Well,
And
bring something to the board, some kind of a proposal.
John, do you want to do that within the harbor management? Like, sit down with those guys some night and then bring it back to this board?
Sure,
That's a good one.
yeah,
Yeah, we can set up a meeting. with
yeah.
Harbor
I'll
Management
get a few
Committee
guys
and
together,
Maybe some
Yeah.
laymen could come.
and let me know when and where, and,
Okay.
and,
Probably the trustee office.
yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
Richard, I'll give you a call.
Okay, I thank you very much, and appreciate it.
Welcome, Ken.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Richard.
Someone get John to come in.
Okay, Shannon McCaffrey. Does anybody?
Shannon, which one do you want to do first?
211 Lily Pond and 85 Last Pond.
Let's do 211 Lily Pond.
I'm Shannon, I'm from Dewey's Planning, representing the client, and they want to do a sand dune replenishment down on Georgia Beach, and so they want to bring in plus or minus like 200 cubic yards of sand and do a beach glass planting. More?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to cover that with 200 yards of sand. Guys, on this one here, you have your DEC permits,
Yep, I
correct?
submitted it to you guys this morning.
Okay. You guys-
Jim, I printed this out today. It was just sent in.
All right.
Okay?
No, that's all good. Hey, Shannon, do you guys have a contractor selected on that yet?
Yes, we do, and so we're trying to do it before pipe and clover, so that's,
Well, we'd love to see you do it before Pipeline Clover. We discussed this, just to click your memories. We discussed this, Del, we looked at this property before Christmas. And it's a condition of the original permits on that revetment to keep it covered with sand. It makes perfect sense to do it. Georgica's been excavated, they're moving sand now. I would actually like to make a motion to approve this. Now, Shannon, did you amend that permit to put in sand fencing on it?
I didn't submit anything, but if that's one of the
You
conditions
know
of
what, I just
approval, we can
suggested,
do it.
only because,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna do your other stuff. It's gonna help capture some of that wind-blown sand, and there'll be plenty of it, because there's some other replenishment projects going on there.
Yep.
So I would like to make a motion that we approve this. We have looked at it. It's nothing different than what's been done here many years in the past. This has been sitting open for quite a while. It's right on the parking lot there.
I'll second it.
Yeah, I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're gonna submit for Village?
Yes, probably tomorrow.
Good.
How long does it typically take to get a resolution from you guys?
Well, we'll get it probably printed up here pretty quick, but it's gonna be contingent on you guys getting your village permit.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
please, if you can get the modification in to add
Sand fencing?
the sand fencing, we'd love for you to be able to take advantage of the sand that's moving down the beach.
Do you want to talk about 85 Last Point while you're here?
Sure. Down on 85 Louse Point, we're proposing to do some 2 layers and 3 layers in some areas of core logs with a planting to do a shoreline stabilization. And so we submitted updated plans, and so I was wondering if you had any comments about them.
Has anybody been down there to look at that?
Which one is
We
this?
had looked at this Jim and I had done that with Susan last year.
Now, Shannon, you've got DEC on that?
No, we have DEC for their septic system, which is going in. They're still pending at DEC.
Okay, but you have ZBA, you have a natural resources
That-
permit on
The
that?
problem, the waiver was for their septic system. They're in ZBA pending as well.
Okay,
Is that septic system the newer?
IA, yeah.
Oh, great,
And so they have all their approvals for that, and that should be taking place soon.
excellent.
And so this one's a separate project.
And do we have an application from you?
I believe so.
I didn't see the
It was
application.
submitted a couple of months ago. It was
Yeah.
4 months ago, maybe.
Copy of the
You
application.
should have
I have
had.
the original one done last year, May of
Yeah,
last
that
year.
one.
Yep, that's it. And so we amended the plan.
Oh,
That's the one we looked at that day, right?
It's on Last Point, and it was right up, the water was right up in the back. That's where Maggie went swimming, right?
You want,
what a place.
Here it is, 85 Louse Point.
Yep.
And this letter
And who's
is,
the-
there's this
gonna be
updated
on?
survey for core log stabilization on the shoreline stabilization application that was tabled. Copy of the survey is in our office and file, and so I have this if you want to take a look at it.
when were you last down there?
It's been a while since,
this
Last
was like
fall.
almost a year ago.
yeah.
Want to take another look?
Yeah, we'll go
before-
take another look.
I think we should go take
All
another
right.
look.
Is that okay to do, or do you
Yeah,
want to
no,
meet us
that's-
there?
Yeah, we can
Or-
meet you, and we can just set up a time at some
Okay,
point.
so I'll call you.
Sounds like a
Yep.
good
We'll
idea,
set-
yeah.
Yep, okay.
Refresh.
Do you have somebody lined up for the work, for the project?
I believe Greg Donahue is who they've been contacting.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we table this, if that's okay with you, until you either have ZBA or you got DEC.
One of them,
Because the
okay.
likelihood of you needing to make modifications on here are pretty good, and it would be better to come back with what's the final plan, so that we're not all switching gears here,
Okay,
all right?
that works. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a great night.
Shannon. I'll give you a buzz.
Is there anybody else who'd like to address the board? Okay. We'll move on to new business. Education. Letter to the town of East Hampton supporting the ban on Mylar balloons.
Yes, I had drafted something, and Chris fixed it up, and I'm going to hold it out just a bit. We did vote to support this effort for the ban of Mylar balloons, and what I think is an important step to take with Surfrider beforehand. I am going up to Yaphank on Wednesday to meet with Kara Hahn, who is the legislator who handles single use of plastic and so forth. But the Mylar balloons, I'm going to hold off on until I speak to shopkeepers who have Mylar balloons. And I have 33 letters, as you know, from various different environmental agencies and shops and or businesses that support this. In fact, most of them supported not only a ban on the intentional release of balloons, but all balloons. But the Mylar is particularly of interest to many residents because it is based from fossil fuel, petroleum, single-use plastic, which is stretched. And from what I understand from various different people I've spoken to, fishermen and so forth, these items are found in the water with ribbons attached to them as the boats are going out and coming back in. So it really is an issue with the marine life, and that's what I want to protect, and I think all of us want to protect.
Do you know how many stores there are locally that sell them? Have you?
Well, I know the grocery store, number one, so that's the shop.
I can name 3,
right?
but I know
And
there's more.
Party shop,
Yeah.
there's one
But
in
Susan,
Montauk.
the Mylar balloons are not covered under the other balloon law?
Well, all balloons are covered under
Okay.
that ban, but that ban
That
is
was an
only,
intentional release, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that ban that we passed and that the town passed is only to prevent the release of 25 balloons per every 24 hours. So that's why I'm going to Suffolk County on Wednesday to present and hope that they will actually pass it for all of Suffolk County, that you cannot release 25 balloons every 24 hours, which makes sense.
Now it's 0 for zip, right? You can't release
You can't,
any.
well, if you had a balloon
Right.
and it came out of your hand or a
Well,
child.
accidentally,
Or, right, but you cannot release bundles of balloons into the air.
But can you go to the beach and say, this is for my, the memory of so-and-so, and release a balloon?
Release
One
a balloon?
Yeah.
Yes, you can do that. However, we know that the balloons travel, and they travel from, we found one a few months ago that came from the Midwest, from a Wisconsin school or something. So Mylar being single-use, latex is also single-use. It is, in its pure form, biodegradable. But once it becomes a commercial item, like a balloon, it's colored, it is no longer biodegradable. So it's an environmental issue. It's not a, political issue. It's about our environment.
Is there no way to get them to ban the release of all balloons?
Well, one step at a time. That's why I did the first thing, which was to ban the intentional release. That was kind of, everybody understands that, and they understand that nobody should be releasing 25 balloons every 24 hours. And people are releasing them for weddings, graduations, parties, in memory of, and we know that the lantern balloons are illegal already, that you light up. But it's about education, and that's one of the things that I do when I go out with education, like you.
And you do fantastic, but what I'm getting at is, I don't understand if you're educating to not allow the release of multiple balloons, one balloon does the same damage.
Yes.
Not as much on a higher scale, but it's like, well, I don't even want to come up with an example. It just kind of makes perfect sense. Why can we not try to work on having it, if you're going to ban the release of multiple balloons, can we not ban all release of balloons? Because it makes sense.
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
But the letter that we have, that Francis, I believe you've signed the letter,
It's not
right?
going until it's approved.
Okay, so everybody, I believe, has a copy in your folder, and it is to Supervisor Van Scoyac and town board members. Please be advised that the East Hampton Town Trustees unanimously voted to support a ban on the sale and distribution of Mylar balloons in East Hampton Town. An environmental concern, not a political one, we again support the ban of a product that is fossil fuel petroleum-based. They are stretched plastic with a foil coating, thus making them a non-biodegradable single-use item that is often found as debris in our waterways, dunes, trees, and in marine, aviary, and wildlife intestines, causing death. And that's my PowerPoint presentation that I showed to the school, and I have shown to Southampton Town. They're working on this as well. Mylar balloons are also the cause of hundreds of power outages. We had one in Southampton a few years ago. There was one in Queens. 1,500 homes were without power for a while. They cause explosions and fires when entangled in power lines. There is a significant increase in helium-filled balloons, particularly Mylar or foil balloons, found in East Hampton on beaches, in trees, and sadly, wrapped around marine and aviary wildlife. Our environment is of the utmost importance to all of us, and as stewards of our waterways, beaches, ponds, and estuaries, the trustees believe Mylar balloons are a serious threat. Once again, the East Hampton Town trustees ask that the town board members will support a ban of the sale and distribution of Mylar balloons in our town. Sincerely, Francis J. Bach, trustee clerk. So,
Susan, I think there's a little bit of confusion here. That, I think, is the original letter. Right? Unless you edited some of the letters
The
that I
original one?
sent you.
okay,
That's the one that you sent me, not
all
the one
right,
that
March
you
6th.
sent back and edited.
Am I not reading the March 11th? I have March 6th.
Right.
You have March 11th?
I don't know if
Okay.
it differs, but.
All right, they are sold in, okay, so added in here, they are sold in many convenience stores and can be found in local beer distributors and florists. There have been a significant increase in released or discarded Mylar or foil balloons found in East Hampton's beaches, trees, waterways, dunes, bays, and oceans. As most of you are aware, these balloons have also been found wrapped and entangled around marine and aviary wildlife, as well as in the intestines of these animals who mistakenly consume them. Mylar balloons also become entangled in power lines, causing fires, explosions, and outages. Is that the segment I left out?
Well, there's a
similar?
lot of different edits. So you're now reading from the correct document.
Right.
But we need to kind of go ahead and clarify that that first document was the
Okay.
unedited version.
May 6th, the first document
So-
I read
Was
has
the
been
older one.
updated.
Yes, to that one. So it sounds like what you're trying to do is now leave it open for a little while for everybody to review the document, for you to speak with some of the different people around town that are selling them. And ultimately, everybody just needs to understand what you're now trying to do is not ban the release, because that's been worked on already, but now ban the sale and distribution of these
Yes.
balloons. That's really the key
Yes.
point here. I think
And
that's
in
clear.
particular, Mylar, because they are petroleum-based. Many people who signed the letters and supplied letters from every organization that's environmental out here and nationally, and the local shops and local businesses, they would like to see a total ban on balloons, period. Now, this effort is not to hurt our local shopkeepers. It's not to, hurt their businesses. But my goal, and I think with the help of other concerned parties, Surfrider is behind this as well, if we can identify other things to sell that would be environmentally better for our community, they themselves, then as shops and shop owners, would feel that this is a better product, and here, let's go for this, let's be the environmentally concerned community that we are. And especially since we are a fishing and, a community where we want to save our fish. And repeatedly, there's so many fish that have died as a result and are found, once they're opened, balloons are in their stomach, and it's terrible. So I'm collecting Mylar balloons, and I'm going to make another fish, and I'm going to frame it, and it will be, I'm going to give it to LVIS because they wanted my balloon picture from last year. So this will be for their fair in the summer to auction off. But that's where we are, and I hope that you will, take a moment to read it. And we did vote on this before, but I'm going to do some more work.
Once again, thank you for all your work on this important issue.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you very
welcome.
much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And for Surfrider Foundation, Colleen Henn and Andrew Brosnan, who are very much in support of this as well. So I appreciate everybody's support here and the trustees. And thank you, Chris, for helping
You're welcome.
make this a better letter.
All right. Also under education, Town of East Hampton Natural Resources Department is hosting Eco Day on June 1st and has invited the trustees to participate.
Where's that at?
You've been in touch with them over the
I have been in
yeah.
touch. I unfortunately will not be able to participate, so I wanted to ask if anybody here would like to,
Susan, where's it being held?
it's going to be right on the front lawn outside here, Eco Day. I have to, I have another obligation on June 1st. But
Is that
that
a
is through Kim
weekend?
Shaw. I'm not
it's a
sure, I think it's
weekend.
probably a weekend.
I
June
would
1st?
imagine, sure.
Yeah, tell you in a second.
It's a
So what's-
Saturday.
So otherwise, what will be there?
I believe that the Department of Natural Resources is reaching out to various different organizations, probably Energize East Hampton, solar, businesses that are, endorsed by the Natural Resources Department. And I think it would be great for trustees to be involved, put up a tent. Again, we do have our T-shirts and sweatshirts, and now we have
Yeah.
aprons, and we'll have some baseball caps, things to help support the Captain Rysam Scholarship Fund. Would be a good thing. I think also involving the shellfish hatchery, John, reaching out to Barley again. If Ashley is available, I'll certainly follow up with that.
Nothing can be sold at that event.
Oh,
it's
nothing
just-
can be sold, it's
It's just
just to illustrate?
Information.
Okay, well then we could have our bags there for clammers. We could
Yeah,
talk about our clam contest, our soup contest, have information about who and what the trustees do, our history.
Okay.
I can help organize it, but I just cannot be present. On education, another thing, it's April 18th that we have our school visit with Emma Ganzit, and that will also be with the Shellfish Hatchery, Ashley, and we'll do our presentation to Emma
What time?
Ganzit School. That I'll let you know.
Okay, the 18th of April?
18th of April.
Great.
Yep.
All right,
Okay. We've been doing all the schools. You ready for another one?
sure,
Okay,
lots of fun.
all right.
All right, let's move on to Georgica Pond.
Do we, Georgica Pond, I think we covered that. Richard
With
Lester
Richard, okay.
was here, but do you guys wanna see where we're at with the dredging? I have been taking pictures
Sure.
as the time goes on, so,
You want the pictures or the video?
Got some video?
well, we can do a few of the pictures, but I kinda probably killed you with pictures.
What is this,
so-
Northwest? or
No, this
North
is
This is
Shore?
Georgica Pond.
Yes,
I have
well,
also some, but I took them on the same day that you did, Jim.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is your music
Be
too?
here all freaking
there
night.
you go.
With music,
Let's
lovely.
do this, so that we don't embarrass me, get rid of the music and
Why?
speed this friggin' thing up.
The music's nice, it adds to,
Nah, it's just making me sick.
well, you put it on there.
I didn't put it on there.
You were listening to that in your car on the way here.
My IT person in the office helped me out today because I loaded them on and they went on
I think
in
the
a
music
totally
adds to it.
different
There's
way.
Maggie.
They're trying to,
we
they're
would
trying to
test-
calm
we
you
would-
down, Jim.
Yeah, we were testing for blue-green algae. This was, hey guys, this was the first week of March that let was still open. This is, I see that they got mixed up again. That's the revetment at 199.
We just got notice.
And that's what the dredge material was looking like the first day. And here they are building
Soon.
covering the lead in.
This is what it looks like now, though. It's
Yeah.
clean, it's really cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Anyway.
nice, very
Yeah.
nice.
This is that revetment at 199. You know what happens is, you load these things in the order that you have them, and then when they drop into the thumb
Like
drive,
they're in the back of my truck.
they just sort of go wherever.
He
This is before we actually started the dredging. And
he just came in at 4:30 today.
That's crazy.
yeah, this was the second attempt at closing this thing off. The first one, we had pretty good rip the night after, and it just washed it right out.
Yeah. They're taking a stand. It's really going well.
Yeah. You know what's kind of cool here is, just as this kind of gets over, you can see that the tide just stopped, like, running out, and the first kind of waves are kind of licking in here, the tide's just starting to ebb, starting to run the other way. But that's still a bridge like that today. They were running sand to the east, and there's a few pictures in there, one of Zweig. That other stonework was the revetment at 199. There's a couple pictures in here of the 171, which we're gonna have to wait till we got a little more beach to get sand down to that one. See, it's better quieter, I think. It's funky music, kind of weirds me out. The piles you see in the distance there, that was one of the conditions of the permit, was filling that hole that had been excavated some years ago by one of the contractors. That was a condition to get that basically graded back. That was the last photos prior, that was the last day of the actual dredging. This is the way the south bottleneck, that's all pretty good, but they've just got to run back and hand rake that beach out. You know, we're gonna be looking at those tire tracks for a while.
The bottleneck has been excavated?
Bottleneck actually came out better than I thought it would. That was our first day of dredging, and the material that was coming out of there was looking a little like diarrhea. This is Zweig. They were working on that today, and I apologize that these are all jumbled. Next time I'll figure out how to keep this organized. Again, this was Georgia before we started. This was some of the sand that Georgia Association is getting back, and this was, again, you know, work in progress.
That whole job really looks good.
When do they expect completion?
On the dredging is done. Dredging's
But
completed.
moving the sand.
Moving the sand, it's gotta be by the end of the month.
Jim, are we still planning to do a survey of some sort?
Yes.
With the pond being
Yep.
lower and
Yeah,
excavated?
which
and
is,
so
you know,
on?
when Richard came in and said, you know, he wanted to see the pond opened up, well, we want it opened up anyway, and one of the things that we had agreed with DEC to do, and I think it's gonna be a good tool, is we did 2 aerial surveys. One Billy Mack did for his own purposes, the other we paid Dave Saskis to do. And then subsequent, as an as-built, we're gonna do another aerial. In his program, he can basically figure out how much material was moved and stuff, and we can see how that bottom has changed. So,
Very good. Nice report.
thank you.
I would like to add just something that's come in that Arlene's made me aware of from Keith Grimes with regard to 85 and 93 West End Road on Thursday, starting with dune restoration. They want to give notice that they will be starting that project, 85 and 93 West End Road.
Yeah. Now, the only thing, I heard that.
4:30 it came in, I'm sorry.
Okay, I knew it was coming. The only question I have there, and I'll call Billy Hayjack in the morning, is I just want to make sure that Kenny Cullum's gone over there, and I think he has to inspect. I looked at it today, it's fine. The only thing they were working on today is they were moving they had some scattered loose stones around. They were getting those off the beach at like 9:30 this morning, so that would be nice if they cover that, but I think it would actually be better right now if they let them cover 171 first, because it's really tight by that revetment right now. There isn't a whole lot of beach there.
Okay.
Do we need a motion or anything?
No, it's condition of the permit.
And Zweig is maintenance, Jim?
Zweig is maintenance, and Brian, you weren't here last meeting. Their agent did come in and ask, for, you know, they submitted for permission to cross the beach. We gave that to them,
Excellent.
and they're doing that, you know, doing that now.
Good to hear.
Anything else on Georgia?
No, I
Okay.
don't have anything else going on there.
Northwest Creek?
Yes. John, you want to begin on that? We had a neighbor from Northwest Alliance call me. He used to be the head of the Alliance and sent me a letter. Mr. Matthews. So I know it's a long, ongoing situation. And so I'll just tell you briefly, Kim Shaw is involved now, and Peter Van Scoyac, and we're going to host a meeting and speak about this. And John and I serve on Northwest Creek committees together. So, Bill, you know all about this and the dredging. So I have some documents, and this is a map I got today from the Department of Natural Resources, showing the former
Yeah, those
dredging
are-
and so forth, so.
This is possible proposed dredging.
We want to cut through that bar there. I mean, the trustees have been trying to get that done since Norman Edwards was,
Right.
you know. pushing for it.
And my understanding is, anything south of the inlet itself is considered new dredging, and that'll have to go before the, county dredge committee for approval.
But how long ago did you talk to Kim Shaw?
I didn't talk to her, but there've been a few emails back and forth.
Okay, when I was meeting with her last week, she brought this up to me, and it looks like they may have, this may be green lighted earlier, because, you have to go before the county dredging committee, and apparently the other prospective projects didn't come forward and didn't fulfill the.
The county likes to do this job.
No, but they didn't come forward, so it
So
looks
that would
like
put
this.
this project
No,
up
it looks
front.
like this project's gonna go from the back of the line to the front of the line.
I understand that
by
it has been
default.
dropped in past years because other
Yeah,
projects
yeah.
came
Yeah,
first.
so,
One thing, are we gonna meet on this? Because one thing we
Yes.
wanna bring up is where the sand is gonna go, because
Well, there's
the
a-
one spot they've been putting it is like,
This is
so
the
full, so-
proposed spoil site is along the beach, basically from either side of Mile
yeah,
Hill Road.
that's good, that would be fine,
This is also where we do our horseshoe crab.
yeah. No,
survey.
but putting it, I mean, now that the DEC has seen fit to put things on the beach where it belongs, it
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense.
So they said
is-
that, Kim said that, a letter of support from the trustees would be helpful. I'm not sure when the committee meets, or I don't think there's even been a date set yet, so.
but
No.
No, but the county's asking for a priority list, so.
Okay.
and
And
I think
also,
they
we're
want-
going to, I've asked Jim Matthews if the new
Yeah.
president, Chris Haig is his name, I think? I have it at home,
Yeah.
to have a letter from Northwest Alliance in support of this,
Yeah.
so I'm working on getting that as well.
But the thing we really have to do there is make sure that cut through the bar is part of the project. And, the county comes in and they do their boat base and they do the entrance, and what we really need done in the creek is for them to go a couple hundred feet further.
is
Further in.
that still sand there?
Yeah, there's a big
Yeah, that's
sandbar that
all
works
sand.
all the way across it. There's a little natural spot, to do the,
What,
basically where that line of sounding.
This is all very shallow sand flat in here, and whatever channel there is really right along the shore.
Well, John, there is another sandbar at the end of your dotted line on the west side. There's a small peninsula, keep coming down, right there. There's another little sandbar there that sticks out. Yeah, it's a popular fishing spot. The main bar, of course, as Bill pointed out, is on the east side coming across. And we used to be able to water ski from that point all the way to the end of the harbor and back on that side.
One of my concerns was that when I was at the hatchery, we did a lot of seeding of oysters here, and the hatchery still does that from time to time. And it was a good spot because it was really only accessible to commercial people generally, because it's only seasonally opened, and it requires a boat to get there. So it was kind of popular for that. I was concerned that this might, impinge on that ability, but it's actually a pretty good placement for this, because it's on the edge of the flat where it just begins to fall into that little channel, won't compromise.
Just to get over that hump with the water flow, I think is the key.
John,
This is apparently the shallowest
Yeah,
area.
no, some areas they're going to like 6 inches at low
Do
tide,
you-
or fully exposed.
John, do you think, in your opinion, that this would, after the dredging, allow cooler water to come in and maybe get some eelgrass to take?
That's exactly, what they're hoping.
Speculative.
That's a
yeah.
big prediction, but,
Okay.
I mean, it would probably allow more water to enter the southern part of the harbor.
Yeah.
Definitely allow a greater water exchange.
My understanding from speaking to Jim Matthews is that at one time, this was a wonderful place
Oh,
to
yeah.
go. It was full of all sorts of marine life and abundance of, for harvesting. And now
too
there's
hot.
nothing, and the eelgrass is
Got too
gone.
hot.
There were dolphins in there last,
Well, I think there's
Yeah.
still
Dolphins were there.
some natural clam sets in there.
Last year
last
they
couple
were
of
in?
years, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. That answers? Anyone?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to point out quickly that it was a couple years ago, the girl from the Nature Conservancy came in, no, not Nature Conservancy, Cornell Cooperative Extension, And they were talking about doing some seeding in here for eelgrass and other aquatic vegetation. And I specifically remember asking her, don't plant it on that flat, because that's exactly where they wanted to put it. So I would just recommend you reach out to her again, or that organization, and find out what they've planted and where they planted it, so you can coordinate that with the dredging proposal.
Thanks.
Good.
Thank
I
you.
actually think I have her coming in to speak to this.
Kim?
And I'll-
Yeah.
She said.
I believe what was done failed. You know,
The first time it did.
it did, yeah, because, yeah, yeah. And I think the consensus was that it was too warm in there that summer. So, okay.
All right. 3 Mile Harbor, 37 Molina Drive, application for a stairway to the beach.
Okay, I spoke to the applicant, and this is a new application, but it's only a new application because their 2018 application expired. And we granted it last year, or 2017 it was granted, and it expired in 2018. This is a new application for the same,
So it was never constructed?
it was never constructed. They have a natural resource special permit, they have a DEC permit.
Is this the one with two sets of plans, or is that?
This is, yeah, this has, there's the set of plans from a landscape designer from Southampton that shows the staircase extending to the 6-foot contour line, which is a little bit out on, beyond the toe of the bluff. And this was the drawing that was attached to the trustee permit that I found in the file. But the ZBA permit, the Natural Resource Special Permit, cites this Saskis survey, which shows the staircase ending at the toe of the bluff at the 8-foot contour line. So you can see there's a little bit longer
That extends out.
walkway in that. So I would recommend that we grant this permit citing the Saskis survey so that the stairway ends at the bottom of the bluff, basically.
Did
They're
they submit that one to us? Did they submit that survey to us?
This is,
Okay.
yes,
So, just to clarify on my end, when they got the NRSP and when they got the DEC permits, what set of plans did they use to get the permits?
the Saskis
The
survey.
survey, the Saskis survey.
And I'm not sure if the attachment to the permit that I saw was a copy is actually, I'm not sure, you know, how the original trustee permit,
Well, they're getting a
what
new,
plan they cited. I'm not sure it did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the one I found had the landscape designer's plan attached to
we'll
it.
be issuing them a new permit referencing the Saskis survey.
Right. And then I spoke to the applicant, and they're aware of that, and don't have a problem with it.
Is this, on this survey, is that revegetation? I can't really see.
No, that's just
Down the bluff?
nature of the bluff.
Okay, but are they revegetating with grasses or anything, or is it just?
They're not revegetating. I think there was revegetation already done.
Okay. Couldn't really tell with these
Has
little
been
items.
revegetated.
Okay, good.
In my packet, on this same address, number 11, explain project in detail. I don't see anything. Am I missing a page?
Yeah, there is no detail on this application. I didn't see
There's no narrative
Yeah.
on the, there should be.
No.
Because usually what you want to see in that narrative is describing the project and specifically referring to the approved plan. Whether
Correct.
the date
So we
was
might want to have them.
January
complete that work.
15th, January 11th, just so you don't get confused, because, you know, let's face it, if they build this thing in the manner that that landscape plan is, I think everybody's gonna have a problem with it. It's gonna be on the beach.
What was the permit you approved?
Have them clarify that.
Yeah, paragraph would be
All right.
helpful. Okay.
So we're gonna table
We'll
that.
table it.
I think without the narrative, we would have to. till the next time we get together, or we can get it before the next time we meet.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this, I mean, if there's a narrative attached to the natural resource special permit, would that suffice?
No, not really, you know, these things should truly be standalone. You know, did they include, you know, the only way that works, did they include their natural resources special permit with their application? Did they include their DEC permit with their application? If they're not like an appendix to the application, no.
Okay.
Anything else on that? Nope. Okay. We'll move on to 58 Hedges Bank Drive, application for sand replacement and revegetation.
Okay, this is, the bottom of the, this is a recent revegetation, and the bottom of the bluff has sloughed. And the application is to fill it with sand and revegetate it. So this is a picture of the,
Basically, restore the toe
Yeah.
of the eroded bluff. Yeah.
that's a picture of the eroded bluff. And they also have, they have their DEC permit, and their ZBA permit is, it's been approved, it's just being written up. And, First Coastal is doing the work, they're gonna use, bluff-compatible sand.
Looks to be in order.
The plans are
Yeah.
here. So I would recommend that we approve this.
Okay.
This is kind of what we're asking people to do, is keep the
Yeah.
bluffs
Does somebody want to make a motion?
intact.
You made the motion, you want a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's a good one.
Yeah, no, that's what we want people to do.
Yeah, and Billy knows that.
All right. 205 3 Mile Harbor, Hog Creek Road, application to install one piling in front of a private home to safely moor a boat.
I saw this first Saturday, so I'd kind of like to
Yeah.
sit on this and
Yeah, I
find out a
spoke-
little bit more about
Yeah.
the nature of any other applications or necessary permits they may need for this.
Is this in Hog Creek?
No, it's in
3 Mile Harbor.
yeah.
This is a couple of doors down from the Shagwell Marina.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Or
It's referencing Hog Creek in the
Yeah.
subject line.
Yeah, we had an opportunity, John and I, to discuss this prior to the meeting briefly. And I concur, John, that just do a little research.
Is there any reasoning why they wouldn't just use a mooring rather than a piling?
They were denied, I believe, well,
Yeah.
the DEC didn't want
Well, my
a
understanding,
dock.
Bill spoke to the,
I spoke to the applicant, and his house is like on the water down there, a couple, I guess a house or two south of the dock that's there, the one long dock. It's the old Schwank house.
South of Shagwell Marina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to put a piling in there to hold the boat off the bulkhead. So it sounds like he might want to moor the boat on it. We need a lot more information on this. It just came
Yeah,
in
'cause that
late
could be
last week.
a navigational issue if we're putting a
It's
piling.
probably
in
not a
standalone.
navigational.
No.
I asked that question.
It's close to the channel.
Yeah,
there.
but it's close to the other dock. You know, the dock
That was a question I asked as well.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Total length of construction, 1 hour. Nothing gets done in 1 hour.
Yeah,
is this in the
mobilize.
same area, though, that the trustees had
This
Passed
is
a
allowed-
resolution,
this
there's
is
no
an-
more, no new
no,
docks, no
This is
new,
north of the prohibited area.
this is north of that area.
Yeah, the area, the prohibited area basically starts at Wilco Highway, the south of Wilco Highway. This is north of Wilco.
Okay. Look forward to your update, John.
Get back to you.
All right, move on to old business. Sag Harbor Village expanded jurisdiction. Anything new on that?
No, just that we did send out our written comments to the Village of Sag Harbor. I'm not aware of any feedback yet from the Sag Harbor Village Board. They did have a presentation from Dr. Gobler last Thursday evening to provide some very preliminary results on the first year of their water testing. And there was a lot of excitement in the Sag Harbor community, so I'm glad that we were able to be a part of that and hopefully, help keep that going this coming year. And it looks like the plan is that they are going to try to retain Dr. Gobler again for a second year of study, as he has, I think, enlightened a lot of people there as to the importance of his work. So, but good to hear, and I'll keep you guys posted on anything further.
I have a file on this. Anything new to add to my file?
I'm not sure. I'll
It's
see if
quite
you have the
extensive.
latest, but after the meeting, I can check and see if we got the latest.
Do we know when they're closing that hearing?
I thought it was March 12th.
Okay.
That was the latest, I think, that we had spoken
Yeah,
about.
we got it in early. I think it was
Yeah.
March 4th, and I spoke personally to them, so it went right into their hands, and
Yeah.
they were very happy to get it.
So thank you, Arlene, for your help on that. Thank you, Chris.
All right, committee reports. Acabonic, Clearwater Beach Property Owners Association, bulkhead replacement, closeout permit HC 617.
I spoke to the Clearwater Beach Association President, James Scafaro, and he has contracted with, I believe it's Wallbridge, he said. They are backed up, so they will not be able to get a new survey until April for us. He will supply new photos of the work being done, and I just left a message for him today to ask if there's anything he needs to tell us. We're going into a meeting, but I did speak with him about a week and a half ago, so he's following up on it, and as soon as he does, he'll let us know, and then he has to go to the town, and he will present to close out in town, and then come to us with what we need. So I'm on top of that.
Okay. Aquaculture, 2019 Horseshoe Crab Survey.
I think we've got April 6th, is the date?
We
Or
have
24th?
24th.
24th, and in between, Matt would like to meet with us, so he's asked for, let me just get the letter, some dates, and I will get it for you in a second here.
What are the chances that you'll see some of the horseshoe crabs that you tagged last season, this season?
I don't know, I
I'm
hope it's
hoping for.
good.
They have little reflectors on them, so at night, if we shine them on to them and we see them, that will reflect on them.
Assuming nothing's grown all over.
Yeah.
Let me just look for this, where is it? I think it's underneath here.
That's a real thin piece of reflector.
Yep, it's very tiny, right? Wednesday, April 24th at 10 a.m.
That's up the island.
Up Island, we go to
Yeah.
that. And then, I have an email from Matt. He has asked for some dates in March and also early April that we could meet here in East Hampton at the Trustees Building. And he is not available March 22nd through the 29th. He has a conference and teaching commitments to attend to. So we just need to find some dates. He has CC'd Catherine Ziegler of the DEC, so she's on board as well. So I guess whomever is going to do this should connect with me, and I will find some dates that work for us.
John, do you want to just do that like on a Wednesday afternoon? Like,
Maybe we should try to set a date now. and
I was
get
gonna
back to it.
say, yeah, let's just pick the next two Wednesdays, or 3 Wednesdays.
Hold on one second.
One of them's gonna be in the
Talking
week that
about-
he's gone.
You're talking about next week, or,
Well, he's out the 22nd through
2
the
weeks from
29th,
now.
so we have, today's the 11th, we have the 13th and the 20th. And that's it, this month.
All right, is he away during one of those times?
No, he
Right.
would be available March 13th and March 20th, those are Wednesday.
Let's see if we can do that, and if not, we'll put as a contingency the next.
Hold on one
Wednesday.
second, March 20th and the 27th. And then April, Wednesdays work best for you?
Well, because that's kind of been harbor management, we've done them on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And,
John, same for you? Rick, are you also going to be,
Yeah,
maybe?
Maybe.
Okay.
See how my schedule
All right,
works
so
out.
when I email everybody, I'll
Please
put you on the
include me.
email?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay, anybody else here?
I might be a pinch hitter.
You're in this.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll be emailed as well, all right. So
I can't do the 13th unless it's like early in the afternoon,
the 13th of April is a Saturday.
March.
Oh, March back?
That's
Okay, you
2
can't
days
do
from
13th.
That's 2 days from now.
yeah.
Okay, well, I have
You're
the 20th and the
retired. What the hell
27th
could
as
you possibly be
options.
doing?
20th and 27th, I think.
Priority.
How's that?
Both Wednesdays?
Yes, both Wednesdays seems to work for, so I'll make myself available 20th and 27th of March and go to April. We have April 3rd, 10th, 17th, and 24th.
I thought he wasn't available the 27th.
No, that's March. I'm sorry, the 20th and the 27th, somebody said. All right, hold
Thought
on a
he's
second.
away.
29th, okay, so
When you,
forget that.
when
It's
you
March-
get, when you get a
March
confirmation,
20th.
just send me something, I'll try and be there.
March 20th, we have open. March 13th, you can't come, right, John?
Well, unless it's earlier in the afternoon, 2-ish.
All right. 13th, I'll put a question mark, early afternoon. And then on April, is everybody available, either the 3rd, 10th, 17th, and 24th?
Those are Wednesdays?
Schedule.
Well,
I'll just,
20
you know what, I'll deal
The
with Matt.
24th, if we haven't seen them
Yeah,
by the
that's,
24th,
little
we'll
late.
be seeing them
Yeah.
on the 24th.
that's the,
Okay.
Tag.
I'd just as soon wait and just see them on the 24th. I don't need to talk about this twice.
Well, he wants to come and speak to us specifically about where we might add locations, if we're
Alright.
interested, so he wants to
and I
come.
think it might be helpful. I know Frank might be, should put Frank on that email.
From Southport.
Sofo.
Aubrey.
And Susan, if I can't make it, I'll give you some information on some other spots.
Okay, sounds good. All right, okay. All righty. Okay, I'll take care of that, and I'll get back to you. I also, as long as we're on the Peconic Estuary Program from Cornell University, they have sent out a PR letter describing horseshoe crab monitoring. They're offering a position through PEP. It's a partnership with the local, state, and federal governments, citizens. There is an opening for the summer program, and I did post it. If anyone's interested, you can contact me, Horseshoe Crab Monitoring Program. It is for an intern's position to assist with the collection of scientific data on annual horseshoe crab spawning surveys that occur 12 to 15 times between 10:30 PM and 2:30 AM.
Hey, Susan, not for nothing, what do you think we're doing?
No, but this is for an intern,
Okay.
one intern.
I'd rather not intern, we're already doing it.
I know, but they want an intern in addition to us.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a terrapin monitoring program as well, if
I would
anybody's
actually
interested.
kind of like that myself.
Okay.
Sort of into those little buggers. I
Well-
want to check out Wayne Scott Pond one more time.
Okay, sounds good. All right, this one is to visit the project site in East Hampton 3 days a week to look for evidence of terrapins and nesting females.
Yeah.
Want to volunteer?
Yeah.
You're right in the right spot.
I do. I do.
Okay.
Put my name down. I'm serious about
Okay, no, and you know what, when we get him to
I think
come,
you have to sign up.
it.
Okay.
No,
all right, you're welcome. So when I get him on the phone and we have an appointment, you can take some extra time perhaps to
Yeah.
talk to him about it,
Yeah.
all right?
I've heard those,
Okay.
they're really good eating.
All right, and another letter of support for proposed New York State nitrogen fertilizer legislation. We did this last year, right?
Yes, we had, it
Same
was the
letter?
exact same
Yeah.
information, but this year, it's different numbers on the bills because those bills had expired from last year. So I worked with Chris, and Chris gave us a letter. I gave him a sample from last year, and he's now made an official new one dated March 11th. They're actually having, I believe, a vote tomorrow, and people can call in. And this is for the Bill A4568 and Bill S2130. It is for the sale or use of nitrogen fertilizer restricted to require lawn fertilizers used or sold in Nassau and Suffolk counties to contain a minimum of 50% insoluble nitrogen and a limit of not more than 12% nitrogen by weight. So we do have a letter in place. Everyone
Is
should
that
have one in your folder.
12% soluble nitrogen or 12%
12
total nitrogen?
In a limit of not more than 12% nitrogen by weight.
Total nitrogen,
Well, this is what our letter says. This
all
came
right.
from last year.
yeah.
With just really the new numbers. But at the end of this letter, we added the part that was important about the irrigation, that the trustees, I mean, do you have it in your folder?
No, I don't.
So I don't have to, oh, you don't?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
It should be there under March 11th. Members of the New York State Assembly and Senate.
Yeah, maybe, you know what,
I think the legislation is also included, and Jim, I think last time you wanted to hold off, so you read the legislation.
legislation.
Yes, which I did give, it's in the, it should be
It's in the
attached to.
package.
I have the
Did you
original
say-
one, I think you emailed.
Said they're voting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, here,
really
I
love
just-
when
I
somebody
sent this
drops
to
something
everyone
on me
today.
the night before they
So
vote.
how-
For the purposes of this section, low nitrogen fertilizer shall be fertilizer containing not more than 12% nitrogen by weight, of which at least half must be water-soluble nitrogen, commonly referred to as slow-release nitrogen, if that answers your question. That's in the
Yeah,
legislation.
I didn't read the whole letter. I just read the first paragraph to identify what the letter is for. This afternoon, I received an email with regard to this because it is something that they are, from the grassrootsinfo.org, important water meeting this Tuesday, please call a right. And this is with Engelbright, chairman of this committee is Steve Engelbright. And there is I guess a gathering about the Long Island fertilizer legislation with a vote on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So we're a little behind, which is why I wanted to get this moving from the last meeting. But I sent everyone this particular email about the meeting Tuesday, so if you are inclined. Jim made a very good point last year, which is included in the letter, about the conduit. The crucial conduit of these fertilizers is in fact our irrigation systems. So we wanted to put that in the letter.
Jim, do you want to read this for a couple minutes while we continue with the agenda and we can double
No, I
back
read
to
it. No, I read it.
You good?
I'm good with it.
All right, I'll make a
should we-
motion that we,
Vote on the letter to
Submit.
support it?
Is there a second?
I do have it. Right there.
Nobody second?
You're making the
I
motion?
made the motion.
I will
Right.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris.
And I'd like to just say one thing briefly about fertilizing. And I say this time each year, it's been brought to my attention that you may not need to fertilize your lawn. And you can have your soil tested for just a few dollars through Cornell Extension, and you can get their phone number. I think they're in Riverhead, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have the most greenest lawn, because obviously it's not good for our environment. Thank you.
That's very good. This is my second year, no fertilizer. And grow your grass longer so the roots can dig in.
Okay, you can get phone calls.
Oh.
All right, education, community outreach.
Well, we, as Susan said, will be going to the Amagansett Elementary School, April 18th. If anybody'd like to join us, you're certainly welcome. And we just have a great time. We invite, what is?
Allison?
Allison comes from,
Oliver?
yeah, from the town shell fishing department. I'm sure that I got that wrong, but you know what I'm saying. And- Hatchery, thank you. So that's what we'll be doing.
And you always give the history of
Yeah.
the trustees and what we do and how we do it.
We all have our own little shtick, and we really have a lot of fun. The kids really enjoy it, and we're hoping that somewhere in that crowd will be a future trustee or two. So thank you. April 18th. We will be in Amagansett.
All right.
Okay.
Next thing is the Friends of Aaron Parade.
I personally want to thank Jim Grimes for lending us his truck and his beautiful, beautiful boat with the Montauk School, Public School, because they supplied the proclamation for the balloon passage that the town did a month and a half ago. The truck cannot be used for the public, but Jim has kindly offered to be in the parade, and we're going to get the school kids involved and wear the T-shirts, and they're also going to, there's so many kids apparently that want to be in it, that they'll walk behind, and the teacher, Sarah Newberry, is going to see if she can get the kids dressed up in costumes as fish, dolphins, lobsters.
There's not a hard commitment on that, I just want to point out. That may or may not happen.
What?
I spoke to Sarah this morning, she's gonna give it
Oh,
her best
okay, well,
shot.
she does have very creative ideas, and so if
Yeah.
any child wants to be in the parade, we'll figure out a way to get them in, but I think it would be really nice to, have the Montauk School District involved.
Did you order stuff?
I have a list of things I wanna go over, just,
But did you order it?
I didn't, I can get it overnight, but it's plastic, so I'm having a little fear.
Listen, man, we gotta get over that, okay? This is
They're-
recycled.
Yeah.
These are recycled
Recyclable.
plastic beads.
Well, I just
You
read
know,
an
that-
article about how the plastic beads from Mardi Gras are really causing problems in the harbors there.
I'll
In New
order them for
Orleans.
you, Jim.
So I was thinking
Yeah,
maybe chocolate wrapped in tinfoil greens, what do you think?
Well,
You sell candy and then
I
you
was
just throw the
actually
candy
liking
in.
the Mardi Gras beads, and I think our Grand Marshal was especially, because you gotta understand what's happening here is Gordy Ryan's not having a float in the parade this year, he's marching. So somebody's
Yes.
gotta throw the freaking beads, okay? So, we gotta have the beads.
Well, you know,
Can we have a vote
we'll
from the,
talk about it.
from the audience on the beads?
I have them all ready to go. They're all ready to go from Party Store.
Okay, there'd be no balloons, but we can have beads.
Do I need authorization for funds? Would we like to take a vote? I'm asking for funds for the party,
How much
the
you want?
parade. How much? Well, how many beads do we need?
I think we need as much as we can afford.
Yeah, how much money do we got?
How many seats do you need, Gordon?
How
Hey,
many?
actually, hey, Gordy. No, how mu, what's our budget?
On beads,
Yeah,
it's usually about $300 or $400 for about 4,000.
okay.
Most of it is shipping.
Can I make a motion that we budget $400 for this?
I'll second it,
Second.
Six
since I have to go
hundred.
order.
What?
I need everyone.
Six, the shipping and,
Does everyone
They ship
agree?
cheap,
$400 total for
Yeah.
beads, plastic beads.
okay.
I don't see everyone voting, so yes or
Recycle.
no.
We
is
have
there
a
a second?
I'll
Second?
second this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Boy, oh boy, Dell,
I'm
that's a
not
lot of
going
money.
for it.
Nay.
That's
Yeah,
one no.
well, you know,
It's a
I
longer
forgot,
parade,
I'm
you know?
gonna abstain from the vote.
No, don't do
plastic
this,
beads.
don't do this to us, come on, man.
I
You're gonna
know.
be, you're
All right,
gonna
all right,
be, you
all
either gotta
right.
be on the
But you
team
know,
or off the
I
team.
walk the walk, I can't just, you
Yeah,
know,
okay.
I don't have fertilizer on my lawn.
Susan, did you vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, one against?
Oh, that doesn't
Anyone
What are you
sound.
saying, Mary?
Dell is not
Are you saying you'll pay for the beads? Yes. Mary Krogan has graciously offered, and
Mary.
generously offered to pay for the beads,
That is
okay?
lovely.
Well-
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now, Susan, will that ease your conscience a little bit?
Well, Mary, whatever's left over we'll bring to the store. Thank you very much, that's very kind of you, and we appreciate it, all
With
of
every
us.
third
Thank you,
copy, you get a bead.
All right, so beads it is. All I have to do is click on the buy.
Okay, move on to Napeag Lazy Point. Lazy Point lease
40,000?
rules and regulations, proposed
4,000.
changes.
You want me to take this?
Yep.
Okay, as you all know, we've been talking about the Lazy Point leases for some time. We had a meeting last Wednesday night to go over questions that some of the board members have on this. I would like to make a motion tonight to schedule a public hearing for April 8th, which is about a month away. At which point, any members of the public should be welcomed to, and this should be posted however we post it, so that the public can come and speak about this. Members of our Lazy Point community will have the opportunity to speak about this, and any of our board will have the opportunity to speak about this. Is anybody willing to second that motion?
I will second that motion.
When will the final draft be available for review? Because we don't
When will
have
the
that.
final
We don't
draft
have
be?
that.
I think, we seem to be stressing out over a final draft copy of this document. I hope everybody recognizes that with things like leases, that the final draft ultimately doesn't occur many times until both parties have had the opportunity to weigh in on this. So until we deliver a draft that can be voted on by this board, it's going to be somewhat unproductive to wait until we have every I dotted, every T crossed, simply and solely because there's going to be some give and take here, I'm sure, between our tenancy. So
the
I
draft
mean,
that we have now
the
will be
concept-
available to the public and the tenants?
The draft that we have now, and I think, Chris, you've made a few changes based on some of the questions to language and things like that. I think we should be able to make that available to anybody that wants to
Yeah,
review it.
that's correct. We'll have a draft available this week in time for the public notice to go in the Star.
All right.
Okay.
It's important that it's
And
available.
I thoroughly agree.
Okay.
As a real estate broker for 25 years in East Hampton town, I know that contracts take time and they're negotiated, and this is a process.
Yeah, and I mean,
And Chris is very competent, and will,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I mean,
with all of us together weighing in on this, I do think it's the right thing to do morally, to permit our residents who live here and work here to have an option to be able to have mortgage if they wish to, and they are qualified to do so, to improve their home. And I think that it's the right thing to do for our neighbors and our community. So I'm in fully support of this. And I think that we'll come to a very good contract that is suitable for the trustees as well as for the tenants. So I just want to say that on the record.
I just want to put it on the record, basically the significant change to this document is this has been a year-to-year lease situation for upwards of 70 years now. It deprives the community of the ability to do financing, which in turn deprives a lot of people that might be able to purchase one of these properties to engage in that, just to their own personal liquidity. And we're proposing a 35-year lease, which will give the tenants the ability to get financing if they desire. This
Do
is
we
not.
know that, Jim? Do we know if the
Yes,
banks
I
will
think
lend
at this point, yes, we do.
Leases. That will give them
Okay.
the opportunity to apply, but as a
Okay.
one-year lease, no bank will even speak to people with a year to year. Now, I know that the issue of that every year we automatically tend to renew, but that is not in writing. So even though the
Well,
board
it is,
trustees
it is, but what
say
it,
that they're going to renew, there's nothing that is legally binding the trustees to renew if they choose not to. If the tenant is in good standing, that would be a reason to renew, yes. But if there are issues, unless it says this is the lease term, there is nothing to say that trustees cannot deny someone, without a fight perhaps,
Yeah.
but.
I think,
I'd like to
guys,
give people stability.
okay, I think we can discuss all of this at April 8th, but I have a motion on the floor if somebody would second it.
I'll second it.
All in
Okay.
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll get that posted.
Before we move
Road-
on, Francis and
Yeah.
Arlene, I'll work with you guys on the public notice as well. So I already have a
Thank
draft. So I'll make sure that we're all on the same page as to the language that goes in the public notice. So we'll probably have that out to you tomorrow. Arlene, you would be the one to know if we're going to be able to get
Yes, I
something
have
into
a
the Star this
question.
week.
If we get it in by Thursday or Friday, it can appear in next week's paper. Is that the?
That's fine as well.
That Thursday it'll come out, if we get it in this week. And then do we need to have the length of the public hearing decided on here? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 week?
April
Not,
8th.
the public hearing notice, like Sag Harbor had a month with Deepwater, the town had 2 weeks.
The duration of the notice period.
Yeah, the whole notice period. So what do you suggest, Rick? Any idea? 2 week, 3
Well, we
weeks,
can-
4 weeks?
Well, it's from whatever day we get the notice in the Star until the day that we're going to have the hearing, which is the 8th.
Okay, great.
And
Okay.
I think what Arlene means is how long after the hearing
Diane's looking.
will there be
Diane,
a
if you want to come up.
period for written comment?
So it's
Yeah, next
up
week or
to, so it's up to the board to take the temperature of the meeting at the public hearing, at which point this board can decide if they want to hold the record open for any longer, or if they want to close the record at that point, and that's a
Well, that is what we
decision
did at
for the
Deepwater,
trustees to
yeah.
make at the close of the hearing.
Doesn't the document state that it's a 30-day period?
Both
We-
documents do.
There's a 30-day notice for amendments to the leases that you're referring to.
And the rules and
and regs.
regulations.
Correct. So if that's what you're referring to, yes, that is in the lease. However, you guys are talking about now having a public hearing, and that's a different notice. That's a notice period that you guys are going to decide on right now. And that's for the public hearing.
Diane?
I just wanted to ask that if your public hearing notice is going to be ready at the end of the week, that means the document that the public is to review needs to be ready.
That's correct.
Okay,
That was just stated.
it was, but then it got unclear, so I just want to clarify. But I would just, my interpretation of the rules and regs with regard to public notice was the 30 days was the same as the public hearing. It's how
Okay.
it had been done in the past.
Thank you, Diane.
Hey, and I just wanted to make sure, because the only reason I asked that question, Jim, was because the last time I spoke with Chris, that was the last confusion we were talking about, was we didn't even know if the banks would accept these terms as they were written in this most updated renewal. So at that time, I had spoken to Chris and said, well, might it not be a good idea to invite a loans coordinator or bank specialist to come in here and explain to us if what we've drafted is even going to be acceptable before we spend any time? I mean, I don't know,
Yeah,
I
no,
just
no,
don't
Chris-
want to get to
Chris-
this point
Yeah,
and
Del,
then
Chris,
find out.
Chris has actually done that. He took a sample, he basically took a sample of one of the Lazy Point leases and put it out with a mortgage broker
Okay.
to basically run it like it was a refinance or a finance deal to see if it would kick back. And to date,
We did have some feedback that, on its face, everything looked pretty good, but I think that's going to continue to evolve over the next couple of weeks. So I will stay in touch with you guys on the progress with the mortgage broker and whether or not that will be
Was
sufficient.
that a local
But-
mortgage broker? Not that I think it matters, but I'm just
Yes.
curious. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
And I think we just need to be clear on the notice requirements. The 30-day notice is a notice to these tenants, the Lazy Point tenants, prior to amending these lease terms. So you're not amending the lease until the lease is up on April 29th. The 30-day notice is that you're not going to change the terms of next year's lease on the tenants without giving them a 30-day notice. That's a separate from any decision you guys make as to a notice period for a public hearing. By law, you're required at a minimum to notice a public hearing at 5 days, and there's no maximum. It's up to you guys to decide, but that's different from saying to the tenants of Lazy Point, we're not going to change next year's leases without 30-day notice. So that's sort of the difference that you guys are trying to understand here.
The tenants and the public.
Excuse me?
It references the tenants and the public.
Prior to the end of the
Prior to
30,
and
of the
amended.
lease term. So the lease is up on April 29th. So if we're going to amend the lease, the public does need to know prior to March 29th. Sounds like we're going to be telling them way prior to that.
So, Chris, in effect, then, would the public comment period be open up until sometime near the 29th of April?
The public comment period, it's up to you guys to decide at the public hearing how long to leave that
How much
public
longer?
comment period open.
So at the public hearing, we will determine how long to leave the record open for written
Correct.
comment or
Yeah.
additional comment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chris.
Anything else?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Roads Committee? Anything?
Rose, I'm still waiting on Saskis, Dave Saskis, he was away on vacation. I do have quotes for 3 different roadways from Walbridge, and as soon as I get everything together, Saskis and everything, I'll send it out to the committee, and we should have it by the next meeting. He was gonna try and get it for me today, but I told him don't sweat it if it was too much.
Are we in a position to pick a couple new roads or do something?
Yeah, I was gonna
We
bring that
could.
up, that there was a
Could
couple
look
of
at
spots
something.
I'd love to meet with you
Yeah.
guys
Well,
on.
That Carlsruhe Cross Highway,
Yeah,
I would like to do.
I don't wanna back ourselves up, because I know the process isn't as quick as you would anticipate it to be, but we should keep
Yeah.
it going. It's been a while since we
How
really.
about we have a call tomorrow and make a plan to visit a couple more roads,
Yeah.
and then we can bring an update back to the board at the next meeting. There is one area I'd really like to visit with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm open for anything. I just wanna
Okay. Get it going.
get something going, yeah.
Sounds good. It's a good time of year. It's not too cold and the ticks aren't out yet.
Ticks are still sleeping.
Well,
They're gonna be waking up soon.
I'm still putting on my tick
I
spray.
found 2 ticks on me the other day.
Uh-oh, all right.
They're you're out.
Sun's getting
I'm
hot.
wearing a Tyvek suit this year, all year. Big white with the hood and the feet and everything.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so estimates coming. Great. Administrative payment of the bills. Optimum, $120.53. Allstate sign and plaque, $59.95. Staples, $236.74. East End Excavating Corp., $2,000. That was to remove beach debris at Old Fireplace Road. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to pay the bills?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A, minutes from February 25th, not ready. Okay, so, financial report for the months ended January 31st, 2019, and February 28th.
I did have one question on the financials that are in the folder tonight, as of February 28th, 2019. There was, it looked like an expenditure of $800 for opening or closing time.
That's an easy one.
Is that an additional incremental cost associated with the project?
No,
That last spring.
no, that would have been done by DeSuno, and it would have been, when did we open that? In November or December?
Because that was
Yeah.
that was for the last year period, year over
Yeah.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one other question, there's an aging summary on the last page of the financials that lists a few different
Yes.
parties. I'm not gonna
I
mention
can
anyone's
give you
names.
this story, though.
But what category is this for? Is this for dock
Well, the one is
fees
an
or?
estate. The woman passed away, and she was elderly and refused to pay her dock bill for years, so it's many years, maybe 6 years.
Okay,
Another person moved out of town, but he's back and has an application in with the ZBA, so we can find him.
okay, very
And
good.
the third one is just someone who struggled over the years. You know, for some people,
Sure.
coming up with $400 or $500 is a lot of money. So we're on top of it. Chris Carrillo's available if we need a legal
Okay,
notice.
I mean, does it pay to maybe try to make a payment plan with them or work with them a little
The
bit
estates
proactively,
usually do things in the end.
clearing it?
The other guy, that's a great idea. He just hasn't responded at all. I have a few ideas I could talk to you in the office. And
Okay.
It's a good idea.
Thank you for the
Payment
report,
plan
though. I
would be very
appreciate
nice.
seeing it.
We're on top of every little person except us. Yeah.
All righty, thank you, Ellen.
Anybody want to make a motion on the financial reports?
I'll make a motion that we accept both of the reports.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and we have a renewal of a certificate of deposit, ending in numbers 1633.
What's the status of that other investment?
Jim was going to do some more research,
What am I doing?
You were
On the
gonna do more
Verizon?
research, no, not
No?
Verizon,
Yeah,
on other investments.
No, I wasn't gonna do any more research.
Last meeting you
No,
said.
you're never gonna get me saying that I'm gonna do financial research. No, you were confused.
On the night dress.
Did you hear him say he was gonna look into?
Come on, don't
I
throw me under the
remember.
bus.
Yes.
I
You do?
remember,
Yes.
yes.
Well, I remember we
Hey,
tabled
hey,
it.
We can go to the
Francis,
tape,
is
yes.
it okay to maybe meet with Len and talk to him a little
Might be a
bit
good
about,
idea.
you know,
Put
the
me on
right
the spot
mix
here.
of
What the
a
hell do I
CD
look
and adding something a little riskier?
Charles
You know,
Schwab?
because usually your portfolio, you know, will have a breakdown. You know, maybe
Plastic
you have
beads.
a good
That's fine with
financial
me.
officer, you know.
Come on, man.
That's
You
something
know,
you could maybe set up, you know, a
Weren't
couple
you
of
ever a
clerks or a member,
child?
a committee.
Recyclable. Get the
Get a little bit of,
recyclable.
you know,
I'm gonna look
financial
for them.
perspective on it.
Yeah.
Who wants to attend that meeting with me?
I'll go look.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
I'll be glad to go with you. I don't recall
Thanks,
saying,
Francis.
We got the plastic eggshells.
I may have been thinking about asking my accountant or
Right,
something. I'm not seeing him until
I'll
tomorrow.
go with you.
Oriental trading, and I,
But let's get back to this other CD.
Tonight, do they?
Someone have a motion to roll
I
it over?
make a motion to roll it over.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I'm going to skip on Board of the Clerk tonight.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else?
Motion to close?
Motion to close?
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
could I ask you a question now that we